Today's Wednesday workshop session is a end of month news and updates session. So we're just going to have a little look at some new features and new announcements that have come through in the last month or so. So this one I'm really excited about because this is going to save so much time and make it so much easier for retailers who want to expand beyond their own country. What you can do now inside Google Merchant Center, what you have done in the past, if you want to target multiple countries, you used to have separate feeds in separate currencies and each targeting a different country, and it could get really tricky to kind of set all that up, and it's just additional work to have all these multiple feeds that you're having to maintain. What they've announced now is that you can now just have a single feed and target separate countries, additional countries over and above your own country from that single feed, and it's really, really easy to set up. So all you do is you go to Merchant Center and you go to your product feeds and you click on your main feed, and then you get to this page. And if you notice there in this slide, I've highlighted the settings tab. You just click on the settings tab and then you will see your original country of sale. Now this is already set up as multi-country for Australia and the UK, but you can see there where it says additional countries, there's a little pencil icon. So you just click on the pencil icon, and then you will get this box pop up, and you can select any or all of these countries that you want to sell to. Obviously, you need to only select countries that you are able to ship to and that you have set up in your shipping settings. So that's something that you need to make sure you obviously do beforehand, is make sure that you have updated your shipping settings in Merchant Center so that you include any additional countries that you're about to target. But once you do this, then that's it. You can set up shopping campaigns inside your account to target any country that you have added in this area inside Google Merchant Center. It really is so much easier than it used to be able to expand into other countries, and a real boon for e-commerce retailers. Things are tough at the moment, so the more, if you have the potential to sell overseas, then this makes it so much easier for you to do that. So that's the first one, which I'm really excited about. The second one that seems to have been announced recently is that Google have basically told us that data-driven attribution is or will be becoming the default. So this is a tweet posted by Ginny Marvin of Google, where she says, in a move away from last click, data-driven attribution will soon be the default attribution model for all new Google Ads conversion actions. So what do we mean by attribution, first of all, and then obviously what's the difference between data-driven and any other kind of attribution? So when we talk about attribution, what we mean is how Google attributes the conversions in an ad campaign. So how does it decide which click or which interaction with your ad or your gets attributed the result that you actually achieve? So by default in Google Ads, it's set to last click. So basically, if somebody comes to sees an ad, clicks on it, visits your website, goes away, searches again, clicks on a different ad, maybe a brand ad, comes to your website and then purchases, the default last click will give all the glory, if you like, of that conversion to the ad that the person last clicked on. So there are multiple conversion attributions. There's last click, time decay, position based, and one of which is data driven. So the difference between data-driven and the others is that data-driven uses machine learning. And so I'll put a link to this Google help page about data-driven attribution. Basically, if you scroll down, it says how it works. Data-driven attribution is different from the other attribution models in that it uses your conversion data to calculate the actual contribution of each ad interaction across the conversion path. Each data-driven model is specific to each advertiser. So it's using this machine learning. It looks at every time somebody interacts with an ad, whether that's a search ad, a shopping ad, YouTube display, and then it will look at the whole path that somebody takes, the whole journey that somebody takes and how they interact with your paid ads. and then it will create a model to identify whether certain steps in that path have a higher probability of leading to a conversion. And so if you're using automated bidding, it can help model what a successful customer journey path looks like through your ad, through interacting with your ads. And so it will help identify those people that are more likely to convert. Up until now, you have had to have, like, this is only available for ads for sort of higher spending accounts, because you had to have at least 300 conversions in your account per every 30 days in order to even have access to data-driven attribution. And so what they're saying is that in the future, this should be, I presume, available to everybody, and it will become the default. There's also I'll also link to this Search Engine Land blog post where they've talked about it. And so it's easier to optimize. It gives you more data, and it's just going to be, it should be a lot better, and a better way of optimizing your campaigns, especially if you're using smart bidding. I believe you'll be able to opt out. You don't have to have it, but it'd be very interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see how this kind of rolls out. So we've got a couple of comments here by Kirk Williams from Zato Marketing. It says all accounts can now run DDA, data-driven attribution, immediately. I assume this means Google has enough confidence in its algorithms and sampling now, even for smaller accounts. So that was something, you never had access to it before. Attribution by default on accounts appears to have changed from last click to DDA. So this is something we haven't got it as by default in some of our accounts. I think this is something that's rolling out. So I'm not seeing it on all accounts yet, but keep an eye out, because this may be coming to your account soon. Next, really little cool feature this. There are new budget reports inside the Google Ads dashboard. And I'm going to have to show you this, so let's dive in. When you come into your Google Ads account, obviously you'll see, you can have your budget column, you have your budget column here, and you can come in here and you can edit your budget, okay? When you click on your little pencil icon to change your budget, you'll see a link here that says View Budget Report. So if you click on this, we'll open up a very cool, it's here, showing you what your current budget. So this particular one is set to £110 a day. What that equates to on a monthly basis, which is £3,000. It will then show you, based on, what's happening in this account at the moment. That's what it's forecasting that you will actually spend in that month, 2.6, and obviously your cost to date. Okay, so and you've got a little graph down the bottom showing you what your daily spending limit actually is, and then underneath what you've actually spent. So this particular campaign is not limited by budget. So if we drop down to another one that is limited by budget, you can see here that we've got a £50 a day budget on this one. So this is what our spending limit that we've set is for the month. And this is what we're forecast to spend, so slightly under what we spent to date. It's really interesting because here you can see at this point, which was on the 18th of October, I actually reduced the budget. So we can see that point there, it's marked for us. And then over here, obviously, we can see the projection of what we're going to spend by the time we get to the end of the month. So for a lot of people, if you're not limited by budget, this is not going to be particularly useful if you just spend, if you haven't got any budget limitations within your account. But if you do have budget limitations, it's quite a handy tool to be able to come in and have a little play and say, okay, if I change my budget to £20, then, what's that going to forecast that I'm actually going to spend for the month? And you can hopefully, if you check on this on a regular basis, you can work out more accurately what you're actually going to spend for the month inside your account, which for some people is obviously important, that they don't go over a set budget for a month. So there we go. Now it's adjusted our total here. So our target now likely to spend 1.9. So I think this could be potentially a really cool tool to just help you plan better exactly what your budgets are going to be for the month. And of course, you can come in here on a regular basis to make sure that you're aiming to hit your targets for your campaigns. So I think that's really cool. Why don't you go into your account and have a little play and see what you think of it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. But that's been our Workshop Wednesday for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon and get notified next time I post a video. And I look forward to seeing you next time.